Hey guys, Respawn27 here, and on Christmas Eve I saw Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, the last of the Disney trilogy. I didn't pay my ticket, so Disney didn't get my money. A friend of mine bought my ticket, so I paid back my friend, so yeah. I watched it with a couple buddies during Christmas Eve, and I just needed some time to like think things through after everything I saw, and this, I can't, I don't know, I don't, like, what is going on? What is going on with Star Wars? Why don't we just start from the beginning with the opening crawl? And with the opening crawl, you can clearly tell things are gonna go wrong. Because first of all, it's short. It's like 3 paragraphs. Opening crawls were never like that short. At least never, not that I've recalled from other Star Wars movies. Here's what the opening crawl says. The dead speak. The galaxy has heard a mysterious broadcast, a threat of revenge in the sinister voice of the late Emperor Palpatine. Already at the first paragraph, they just declared that Palpatine is back. Like, can you imagine if somebody who has not seen the trailers or the commercials, who never even has probably been living under a rock, got to see this movie, and already within the first paragraph of the opening crawl, Palpatine's alive. It's just no build up. It's just, boom, Palpatine's back. Anyway, continuing on. General Leia Organa dispatches secret agents to gather intelligence while Rey, the last hope of the Jedi, trains for battle against the diabolical First Order. See, she's not a Mary Sue. She's actually doing some training, even though later on she's gonna pull up some crazy stuff with her Force abilities. That's never explained how she's able to do that, but hey, whatever. Meanwhile, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren rages in search of the Phantom Emperor, determined to destroy any threat to his power. Yeah, that's the opening crawl. And funny enough, we actually do start off where the last paragraph left off, with Kylo Ren and his army of stormtroopers attacking a bunch of soldiers in this this red planet, which I actually did look it up, and apparently that planet was Mustafar. That was the same planet, that lava planet that Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker fought in Revenge of the Sith. I did not know, I didn't know that was the same planet, because where Kylo Ren was, it looked completely different to what the planet was before. The people that were fighting against Kylo Ren, they're Alazmec colonists. I don't know who they are, but from what I could gather, they're fighting Kylo Ren because they're guarding this MacGuffin called the Wayfinder, which is the reason why Kylo Ren is there, because they need the Wayfinder to find where Palpatine is, which turns out to be this planet called Exegol, which, to be fair, I actually kind of liked the setting of this planet because it's dark, there's constant lightning. It's actually much more unique and a change of pace compared to like another forest planet or another desert planet. But anyway, Kylo Ren arrives at the planet. He encounters Palpatine, and it turns out that we find out the true identity of Snoke, which was Palpatine. Yeah, it turns out that Snoke was a puppet controlled by Palpatine. I think it was a clone, but what is he a clone of? I don't know. Maybe it was just like an artificial made human being, but we did see like 2 Snokes in this tube thing, in this yellow tube. But it's just really, that's it from Snoke? Like, it was bad enough that they killed him off in The Last Jedi, but hey, at least we got to know what about Snoke. It was just a puppet, it was just a clone. kinda. I don't know. It never goes into detail with these things, but that was it from Snoke, that's just a letdown. Oh, and also like the voices that Kylo Ren hears, like Darth Vader and Snoke, that was all Palpatine too. We also got to see Palpatine. Really, really pale white, black lips, weird teeth, weird ass fingers. His eyes are completely white. He's attached to this long piece of machinery, which I guess is keeping him alive. And how is he even alive? The movie never explains it. Yeah, it's just, oh, here's Palpatine. How is he alive? Forbidden Sith technique that we're not gonna explain in the freaking movie. Yeah. They never explain it. They hint that it's some sort of Sith technique, forbidden technique, but they don't say, like, what it is. They don't even say how the hell he ended up there, because the last time we saw Palpatine, he was thrown off a shaft by Darth Vader, and then the shaft exploded, and then the Death Star exploded. So how did he survive from not only falling, but from being blown up? Never explained. Not only that, but we see these like weird cloak hooded figures. We don't get a good look at them, but apparently they're Sith followers. How did he recruit Sith followers when he was hidden in Exegol for like 30 years after Return of the Jedi? Palpatine recruits Kylo Ren to find Rey and to kill her in exchange for his fleet of hundreds of not Death Star, sorry, the Star Destroyers. Hundreds of Star Destroyers that are hidden in this planet. Okay. Seriously though. What the hell has he been doing for the past 30 years? Yeah, sure, he's like a freaking corpse attached to this machinery, but like, what the hell was he doing? How did he get all the resources, the manpower, the freaking followers to this planet? Like, how did he get the resources that he needed to create a fleet of Star Destroyers? What was he doing? We don't know. We don't even know. We just have to like accept it for some reason. But I guess, hey, maybe we'll explain it in a comic book or in a novel that we have to like buy to figure out what the hell is going on. Oh yeah, also another thing, like, was he like using the Force to like lift up the fleet off the ice or something? Like, and this is like him in his weakened state. If he's this powerful in his weakened state, why wasn't he this powerful when he was back at full strength? Which I'll get to that later, but Jesus Christ, it was only like a couple minutes within the first movie. The first couple minutes in this movie, sorry. And things are just not making any sense at all. The fact that Palpatine had to broadcast his voice throughout the whole galaxy, throughout several planets, that was stupid. That was dumb. Why did he have to reveal himself to be back? Like, with Voldemort, he didn't reveal himself to be back, like, during Goblet of Fire and Order of the Phoenix. At least he kept his identity, his return, a secret for a while. Palpatine, nah. The moment he's, like, fully ready, the moment that he returns in this movie, I'm gonna like tell everybody that I'm back. Oh yeah, also his Star Destroyer fleet, it's also called the Final Order. So yeah, Final Order, cool. Oh yeah, I got my notes on my laptop here, so that's why I'm looking down just to see where I'm at. Finn and Poe, honestly the best duo out of the entire movie, and honestly like the best relationship throughout the entire movie and throughout the entire trilogy, because at least they got great chemistry, and honestly they're way more likable than Rey, I'm just saying. Also, I'm gonna just straight up say this now, Finn should have been the Jedi. He should have been the main character, because how cool would it have been if we had a former stormtrooper becoming a Jedi? Right, back to Finn and Poe. Okay, yeah, we get to see them, we get to see Chewbacca, R2-D2, some freaking slug creature thing I don't know what the deal is with that guy. They're on this ice planet to get a message from this one alien dude, and that message was from a spy in the First Order, and that message was to tell them about Palpatine coming back. They get the message, they get attacked by TIE fighters, which they do eventually, like, blow them up. Kudos to Finn. But in order to escape, they have to do something called light speed skipping, which, I didn't know that was a thing you can do, but apparently it is. Okay. I thought, like, light speed skipping is, like, really dangerous because you're just jumping from one location to another location, like, in light speed, going into hyperspace, and that, going into hyperspace itself is not an easy task. But apparently you can do that multiple times with the Millennium Falcon, even though it did damage the Millennium Falcon and Poe was able to do that. But anyway, they do it. They got away and they ended up back in, whatever planet that they're in. Oh, it's called Agen Kloss. I don't know what that planet is. But that's where the rest of the resistance is, so cool. So then we cut to the jungle where we see Rey training. Past Jedis who came before her, she can't seem to, like, communicate with them for some reason. I guess because she's not completely spiritually attuned to the Force, and yet she's physically strong with the Force, but whatever. She goes through an obstacle course. She couldn't be able to beat this one droid. I mean, she had to resort to using her staff, which, I'm just gonna straight up say this. They should have just given her a double-bladed lightsaber. I'm probably jumping ahead, but in the end, she does make her own lightsaber, so if she could do that, why couldn't she just make a double-bladed lightsaber since she's capable of fighting with a staff, a bow staff? So, I guess we have to, like, stick with Anakin's lightsaber. Oh, sorry, Luke's lightsaber, but whatever. Anyway, during the training, Kylo Ren tries to, like, find Rey, I guess, by trying to, like, reconnect with the mind link that they had in The Last Jedi. Sorry, it's just that the whole, like, mind link that Rey and Kylo, it kind of, like, confused me in a bit. I mean, I always thought because, they had this link because it was created by Snoke, but when it was real that Snoke was Palpatine, so technically it was Palpatine that made the connection. I guess Kylo Ren was using that connection and using his grandfather's helmet to find Rey, to find where she is. But I guess that caused the visions that Rey had. I'm trying to make a lot of sense from this. I'm sorry if I'm being all scrambled. I'm just a little confused with some of the stuff. Well, anyway, the Falcon comes back, everybody gets reunited, and this is the first time we get to see Rey, Finn, and Poe together in a movie. We've never seen them all together in any of the previous movies, but this is the first time we did. And honestly, it's not bad. I still prefer Finn and Poe's dynamic, but at least there seems to be something there. It would have been so much better if we got to see these three together in, like, The Last Jedi or in The Force Awakens, but like, in the end of The Last Jedi, Rey and Poe meet for the first time, so it's just they should have done a better job with developing their group dynamic within this trilogy. Oh yeah, I got to see Rose Tico again, which they kind of, like, sidelined her character. And also, if you're wondering about the thing with her and Finn, it's never really, like, brought up ever again. I looked it up, and apparently, I think in one of the books or something, they said that they talked it out and decided to be friends, so there's no, like, relationship going on between the two, so yeah, that whole kiss thing was completely out of nowhere. So Poe tells everybody in the Resistance about Palpatine returning and about this new armada from Exegol, and Rey was able to figure out about Exegol and the Wayfinder, and that was what Luke Skywalker was looking for before, I guess, he exiled himself to, what was the name of that planet? Octu? Yeah, I think that's what it was. So Luke was trying to find the Wayfinder because it was in his text. So Rey, Finn, Poe, BB-8, and Chewbacca and C-3PO, they had to go to this planet where they're going to meet a contact that will help lead them to find a clue to get to the Wayfinder. So it's basically going on a treasure hunt at this point. They go off to this planet, which is called, Pasana. Oh, wait, I almost forgot about this one thing. Sorry, I almost forgot one thing. Kylo Ren fixes his helmet, and he got to see the Knights of Ren again. Yeah, they're back. They're back. Completely pointless. Like, they have no lines. I don't know what their names are or anything about them. It's just, they're just like a bunch of black bodyguards that serve closely to Kylo Ren. That's it. I mean, there's this one scene where the stormtroopers see the Knights of Ren passing by, and one guy goes, "The Knights of Ren," and the other guy goes, "Cool." That's it. Next, he has a meeting with all the admirals and generals. We're introduced to this new character called Pride. Admiral Pride. No, General Pride, yeah. Which we find out later on that Pride used to work with the Imperials back in the original trilogy. So, yeah, he allied with Palpatine in the old war, and even though I don't really have no idea, like, what he did, or did we ever even see him in the original trilogy? I don't know. But hey, I mean, and now he's working with the New Order, or the Final Order, because he eventually gets promoted, and he's the one that's going to be leading the Star Destroyer fleet. Oh yeah, during the meeting, get to see the head of the alien dude that tried to give them the message back at the ice planet. So he's dead. I mean, he got decapitated, showed his head on the meeting table. He tells everybody that there's a spy. One of the guys doubts Palpatine and the Final Order fleet, but he gets not only force choked, but slammed onto the ceiling. That was cool. Alright, so Rey and the others arrive at Pasana. They're trying to find the contact. Oh, right after that, we get to see the Force link again with Kylo Ren and Rey. Kylo Ren is trying to recruit Rey to the dark side like before. Rey refuses. This is where we're introduced to this new Force power, which does not make a lot of sense. Kylo Ren just reaches out and grabs Rey's necklace and brings it to him, even though they're in two completely different places. He was able to bring back her necklace. And then he lets his troops like analyze the necklace to see where it came from, and they find out that it's from Pasana. So he's gonna get him and his troops ready to go to Pasana. Okay. So apparently you can use the Force to teleport objects from one location to another, or basically one planet to another. When was this ever established that was a thing? Like, they can do that. Actually, now I think about it, like, if he could, like, do that for a necklace, why couldn't he try to reach out to Rey, grab onto her, and pull her into his location? Use that Force teleportation thing to bring Rey to his quarters. Or unless, like, he tried to do that, he ended up getting a dismembered hand. Or some shit. I don't know. It's just, that's a thing now, that you can use the Force. Did they ever foreshadow that? I'm trying to remember. Like, I mean, all I remembered about that was, there was, like, water. Like, the first time that they Force linked, when she was in Octo 2, and there was a tidal wave, and he gets hit by water, and he felt the water after that link was done. So, was that a way to, like, develop that thing in The Last Jedi? I didn't even know that was ever established. Ren tells Rey that Palpatine wants her dead. Rey comments that he's serving another master, but the Sith dismissed this, stating that he has plans of his own. So, okay, so he's kind of being like a double agent at this point, because, like, he's just gonna go along with Palpatine at that moment, but he has, like, a different plan. Rey and the others regroup. He tells everybody that Ren knows where they are. A stormtrooper like finds them, but is attacked by the contact that they're trying to find, which turns out to be Lando Calrissian. Cool to see him again. I like Lando, but he was really underutilized in this movie. I mean, it was just like, the whole point of his character was just to to help the new characters, which is, you know, it's fine and all, but he just didn't really have much of a purpose in this movie. He was just there to help them. And the reason why he was in Pisana was because he was helping Luke find the Wayfinder, but for reasons that weren't explained in the movie, he stayed on this planet for how long? I don't know how long, maybe a couple years or something. Sorry, it wasn't to find the Wayfinder. Well, kinda it was, but it was to find some guy named Ochi, which he was able to locate his ship further into the desert, and his ship has another MacGuffin that they need to find the Wayfinder, which turns out to be this dagger, this Sith dagger. So anyway, that was pretty much it. At least we get a little brief reunion between Lando and Chewie. That was kind of sweet, but it was, I don't know, it was kind of short. They go off to the desert, they get chased by stormtroopers, we get the infamous, they fly now? They fly now? They fly now? That's a stupid scene, honestly, because jetpacks are a thing in Star Wars. We've seen people fly. Also, Finn is a former stormtrooper, so he should have known that there were troopers in the First Order that used jetpacks. So it's not much of a surprise, really. Especially since, oh yeah, they did show stormtroopers with jetpacks in the comics. The chase scene itself, aside from the whole infamous they fly now, it's actually not bad. It was actually kind of neat. Okay, no joke, I laughed at this one scene where, I don't know who made the shot, but one of the shots hit the jetpack, and you get this weird sound with the trooper just flying around. I think it was screaming, or I think it was just the sound of the jetpack, whatever it was weird and it was kind of funny. It was just flying and flying and flying, and then boom, he crashes before they ended up in the quicksand. And Finn was saying, Ray, I never told you that, and he couldn't say anything because he sank down, everybody sunk, but it's fine. It's fine because basically the quicksand is like the devil's snare and the Philosopher's Stone of Harry Potter. Also, if you're wondering what the hell Finn was going to say to Rey, well, he said that I'll tell you later, and that bugs Poe because I guess he didn't want to tell her while Poe was there. I mean, they do bring it up again, but they just end up arguing and bickering over it. But if you're wondering what Finn was going to tell Rey, which seems to imply that he loves her, but no, it wasn't that. Because, I'm just gonna straight up tell you guys, it's never resolved in the movie. It's brought up like at least twice, but they never resolve it. They never even resolved it at the end. But they did resolve it thanks to J.J. Abrams in an interview, according to CBR.com, where he says that the thing that he was gonna tell Rey was that he was force sensitive. Really? That's what he was going to tell Rey? Not I love you, which would make more sense, but because he was force sensitive, which I'm pretty sure everybody would be okay with him being force sensitive, so why did he have to keep it a secret from Poe? That does not make any sense whatsoever. Also, Finn is now force sensitive. Yeah, there have been several scenes where he gets some sort of instinct. He even senses when Rey is dead. Oh yeah, Rey dies near the end, but I'll get to that later. No, it's yeah, he's force sensitive in this movie, yet it was never shown or foreshadowed that he was force sensitive in The Last Jedi or even in The Force Awakens. Like, they could have made him force sensitive in the beginning, which would explain why he was able to hold his own for a while against Kylo Ren at that lightsaber fight, or maybe further develop his own force abilities. You know, make him learn how to use the Force to levitate stuff or do the Jedi mind trick or any of that shit. But no, you can't have that because freaking Rey has to be the Jedi, not Finn. I'm sorry. It's just, out of all the characters that they've done dirty, Han, Leia, Luke, Finn is also one of them that pissed me off the most. Well, that, him, and Luke. I hated what they did with Luke. It's just, he had so much potential. They brought up this whole backstory of him being taken away from his home to be trained into a stormtrooper. They never, like, bring that up ever again. They never, like, resolve his backstory, never, like, do anything with that. They made him, like, a bumbling comedic relief and sidekick to Rey. So they come across Ochi's speeder and, of course, Ochi's body, so Ochi is dead. Oh, and they also encounter this snake creature. Rey was able to force heal it. She was able to do that by giving some of her life force energy to the snake to heal the wound. So that's like another force power that she can do. I mean, I know that's within the expanded universe and within the video games that some Jedi can do that, but like, did she learn how to do it, or was this like a first time thing she's ever done, and like she was able to do it because the Force told her to do it. I know they've established in The Mandalorian with Baby Yoda being able to Force heal. And I don't know if I should probably watch A New Hope again, because I'm pretty sure Obi-Wan used that ability to help heal Luke when he got attacked by the Tusken Raiders. Don't quote me on that, because I don't really know. But if she was able to use that ability, why haven't we seen any of the other Jedi characters use that ability? Why didn't we see Obi-Wan use that ability to heal Qui-Gon Jinn when he got stabbed by Darth Maul? Why didn't they give this ability to Anakin? Why, to like, you know, so that he wouldn't worry about Padme dying, because he has this force healing ability he can use. Hell, he could probably use that force healing ability to like cure his burns that he got in Revenge of the Sith. And why didn't Luke have this ability before, so that he could probably use that to like heal Darth Vader from dying in Return of the Jedi? This, like, okay, look, oh my god, if you're gonna bring up these new abilities that we've never seen before, from the movies, you gotta at least make it make sense. You gotta at least like do some good foreshadowing or build up to these abilities, or like do a better explanation of how they're able to do that, or how they learned how to do that. If you bring them up out of nowhere, it's just gonna raise a bunch of questions and make us think, why weren't they ever used before in the previous movies? Oh wait, actually now that I think about it, maybe Force Healing was like a light side ability, and considering Anakin has fallen into the dark, he couldn't be able to use that ability. But if he had that ability before, when he was a Jedi, when he was still at the light, then maybe... Whatever. Moving on. I should probably bring this up about C-3PO. I was totally bummed out that R2-D2 didn't like go with them, because like R2-D2 and C-3PO, they're a team, they're a dynamic. And sometimes you can't have one without the other. Another MacGuffin that they had to find was a Sith dagger, which has the language of Sith. It's something that C-3PO can't translate despite learning a whole bunch of languages. Then finding the dagger, that was like before the whole snake and the force healing thing. Sorry, I'm keep getting sidetracked. What else? Oh yeah, so they finally arrive at Ochi's ship. They find this droid, which looks like a hair dryer attached to a wheel. And it's called, I kid you not, Dio! This droid is named Dio. And if you can't tell, I'm a JoJo fan, so you can know how ridiculous that is. Also, what purpose does he serve? Nothing for the whole movie, aside from like giving some info or some shit. I don't know, but he's just there. He kind of like speaks in a stutter, and apparently he's been abused by Ochi. So that's kind of sad, but it gives him another companion to BB-8. And this is like, what, the fourth droid we're introduced to? So like, R2-D2 gets his screen time cut because of Dio. Dio. Funny thing is, later on in the movie, he says, I am Dio, and the first thing that pops into my head is, Kono Dio-da! It's just, why? Why did you name the droid Dio? Like... Oh yeah, as I said before, they get to Ochi's ship. Rey senses something within the Force, and he goes off into the desert for some reason because Kylo Ren is there. Even though she could have just stayed in the ship and helped them fix it up so that they could fly away, but no, she's got to confront Kylo Ren. Even though she didn't really have to, but she has to. Well, Finn noticed Rey not being there or being out in the middle of the desert. And he asked Chewbacca to go get her, even though he could get her himself, but whatever. It's just an excuse for the Knights of Ren, oh yeah, who happened to be there, to capture one of their allies, and they captured Chewbacca. Remember that scene in the trailer where she's like, when there's a TIE fighter, like, charging right at her and she does like a backflip. Yeah, it's the same thing in that scene. She used the lightsaber to cut one of the TIE fighter's wings. The TIE fighter like tumbles around, it crashes, explodes. Finn goes out and yells to Rey that they got Chewie! They got Chewie! And we get to see this transporter vessel. Rey was able to use the Force to stop a freaking transporter and try to pull it towards her, which, yeah, that's another thing she can do now because she's that strong within the Force. I mean, granted, wasn't that something that a character in one of the video games, I think it was the Force Unleashed, that can do that, but I guess she took that ability from him. But when Kylo Ren shows up out of the damaged, the destroyed TIE fighter, no scratch on him, no bruise, no burns. All of his clothes were intact. There were no like burns from his clothes. He's just all in one piece, perfectly fine. I want to go bullshit on that, but I guess he probably used the Force to like keep himself intact, I guess. I don't know. Anakin Skywalker is rolling in his grave after seeing that scene. This movie's so ridiculous, I swear. So they end up with a tug-of-war force fight of the transport, and that somehow triggers Rey to tap into the dark side to use lightning. She's just like using the Force to pull that freaking transport vehicle, and then all of a sudden, boom! Lightning comes out of her hands, blows up this ship, and she's like, Chewie! And everybody thinks Chewbacca's dead, and even Finn's like, no! Okay, all I can think of is like how the hell Rey was able to do that with the lightning. I guess when she was feeling frustrated. That she like was feeling frustrated and probably angry at Kylo Ren that she accidentally activated the lightning. She triggered it. Which, yeah, to be fair, it's not the first time a light-sided Jedi used lightning, because I'm pretty sure Yoda did that in Attack of the Clones. And the only other two people I know who can use lightning are Palpatine and Count Dooku. So, yeah, no surprise that she can not only have the Force Mind Link, she also can heal, and she can also use lightning. And her Force is so strong that she can try to pull a freaking transport vessel to her. Even though we've seen a lot of Jedi struggle, like Force pulling bigger objects than that, or maybe objects that are almost that size or probably smaller. But no, she can do that with ease, but she only struggled because Kylo Ren was trying to was having a tug-of-war fight with her. Okay. So yeah, oh no, Chewbacca's dead. No, not really, because in the next scene, turns out he just so happened to be on another transport that was on the planet, even though we've never seen the other transport, but hey, Chewbacca's alive, but everybody thinks he's dead. Oh yeah, also, there's this like scene where they feel like depressed about, Rey accidentally killing, Chewbacca, but they're all like, we gotta keep going for Chewie. Oh, but they can't because they lost the dagger. It's in possession with Kylo Ren. No, it's totally fine because C-3PO was able to keep the language in his memory. He just can't translate it, so or they have to go to another planet to reprogram him to translate the language at the cost of his memory. So in order to do that, they have to go to this one planet called Kijimi. It's a snow planet, and turns out that there was a bit of history in that planet with Poe because they eventually encounter this female death punk girl, what's her name again? Zori Bliss, played by Kerry Russell. Turns out that she was an ex of Poe or something, and that Poe used to be a spice runner. So apparently, from what I can gather, Zori Bliss was pissed at Poe for leaving her and her squad, and she was gonna kill them, but Rey beats them all up. Zori's like, you know what, you're okay. Rey's like, so are you, can you help us? And Zori's like, yeah, okay. That's pretty much it. like that's it. That's all it takes. It's like she's still kind of pissed with Poe, but it's like, you know what? You beat me up and my friends. You're cool. I'm gonna help you. Like, really? That's all it took to convince her. Okay, well, I mean, eventually they do find this little tiny gremlin-looking thing called Babu Freak, and honestly, out of all the new characters, Babu Freak seems like the best one. Well, I mean, Jana is okay, which I'll get to her later, but it's just, I just didn't see what the point is with her, but at least Babu Freak has some sort of purpose. So as I said before, C-3PO's memory has to be wiped in order for him to translate the Sith language. They treat it as kind of like sad because it's the last you'll ever see of C-3PO or something like that. And you know what? It's a sweet scene. If it wasn't for the fact that C-3PO had to say, I'm taking one last look at my friends. Since when were Finn, Rey, and Poe his friends? His friends were Luke, Leia, and Han, and Leia's like off at the Resistance base. And also, like, they were pretty much rude to C-3PO, I guess with the exception of Rey. But, like, Poe was kind of like a jerk to C-3PO. I mean, like, if Chewbacca or R2-D2 was there, that would make sense. I mean, I don't know about him and BB-8, but, like, it's just, nah. I didn't buy it. But anyway, they're able to translate the language, which tells them that they have to go to Endor. Oh, sorry, no, it's not Endor. It's Kefir, the ocean moon of Endor. Sorry, I got Endor and the moon mixed up. So that is where the second Wayfinder is, which is also where the remains of the second Death Star is, which doesn't make any sense because the second Death Star was blown to bits. Tiny bits! So there shouldn't have been like a really big piece of the Death Star left. But there is. And you'd think like a piece that big would cause like some major impact on the moon, but I guess not. Yeah, and also Zori Bliss and Poe, they kind of have like a moment where she's gonna like go off on her own because she wants to leave the planet, and she asks Poe to go with her. I guess she's not mad at him anymore. I guess because she has feelings for him because they're kind of a thing. You don't really get to see her face, but you get to see her eyes when she lifts off the visor. And then she gives Poe this medallion. What is this medallion again? First Order Captain's Medallion as a gesture of goodwill to help them get through the First Order security. So it's like an all-access pass-through security. That's what it is. Which she just so happens to have. Maybe that's the point of her character. Not only to get to Babu Freak, but to also give them an all-access pass. And also, it's the First Order, when the First Order arrives, Rey sensed that Chewie was alive, which that doesn't really make much sense, because if she was able to sense Chewie is alive in Kylo's Star Destroyer, why couldn't she have sensed the second transport vessel that had Chewbacca in it? Why is it that then she sensed that Chewbacca's alive, but not back in the planet that I forgot what it was called? What is it? Pasana, god damn it, I can't keep things in track with this. So they infiltrate the Star Destroyer, blast a couple stormtroopers, do a Jedi mind trick on them. Oh yeah, Rey gets a feeling, an instinct that tells her to go get the dagger because she sensed that they might need it. So it's the Force, obviously. Finn and Poe rescue Chewbacca, but they get caught by stormtroopers. Meanwhile, Rey finds Chewbacca's stuff and the dagger, but she ends up getting into another mind link with Ren, and then they get into a lightsaber battle through the mind link. So, like, okay, I got a question with that. So, is she, like, fighting like for real, or is she just like standing there and they're just fighting in their minds? If they're fighting for real, that means it looked like that if somebody walks in, that she's probably fighting like an invisible entity or something, or fighting by herself, or something like that. But eventually, Kylo Ren figures out that Rey is on his Star Destroyer, so he's gonna go back and get her. Oh yeah, I forgot, Hux. I totally forgot about Hux. Yeah, Hux is there, and it turns out that he's the spy because he just takes one of the stormtroopers' guns, blasts them, and he's like, "I'm the spy." You do get a funny scene with Finn and Poe like arguing before they're about to get executed, and also this funny little banter about Poe like knowing that he was a spy, but Finn's like, "No, you don't," which I'll admit that was pretty funny. But like, really? Really? Like, Hux as the spy? Like, I guess because, you know, how irrelevant he was in The Last Jedi and how much he was made like a total bitch in that movie, that I guess J.J. Abrams wanted to, like, I guess give him, like, something for his character. So he does help the three escape. He asks Finn to shoot him in the arm, but he shoots him in the leg. Finn asks him why is he doing this. He says, "I don't care who wins, I just want Kylo Ren to lose." So, yeah, the reason why he's helping them out is because he hates Kylo Ren, and he wants him to be taken down, even though that would sacrifice his troops, his allies, and his whole regime, the whole First Order. So he's just gonna give up all of that because Kylo Ren was a bully to him. I guess it doesn't matter in the end because, like, what, minutes, seconds later, he gets shot by Pride in the chest, so that's it from Hux. God, he was a bad character. Oh my god, he was a bad villain too, like, total waste, honestly. And this is where we get the Empire Strikes Back moment. So Kylo Ren tells Rey that her parents did sell her, but it was to keep her safe so they could protect her from Palpatine when, you know, since he was after her for reasons, which I'll get to later. But they were caught by Ochi, and he killed them because they couldn't give up Rey's location. And Ren tells her that Rey is a Palpatine. Yeah, she's a Palpatine. Yeah. To be honest, when I heard about this surprise twist, I thought, okay, this might go somewhere. I was a bit intrigued to see where this would go. Kind of let down in the end, but Rey's a Palpatine. Turns out her father was the son of Sheev Palpatine, Darth Sidious. So Darth Sidious is Rey's grandfather. So at some point, Palpatine had to have sex with somebody, probably sometime around either the Clone Wars or the Revenge of the Sith, somewhere between episode 2 or 3. Who the hell did he get with to get his son? But here's the thing. If Palpatine was so intent of trying to get Rey, his granddaughter, why didn't he try to recruit his son? I mean, like, we don't know what the hell he's been doing ever since he died, so he could have tried to recruit his son. He could have, like, tried to recruit him as a child. Or maybe too much time has passed and there was more Force power with Rey. Well, I mean, to be fair, we don't even know if her father had any Force power at all. It's just... Yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Kylo Ren once again tries to get her to join him because he doesn't want to kill Rey for Palpatine's sake. He wants to recruit her to the side so they can rule the dark side together and kill Palpatine. Of course, Rey refuses, and the Millennium Falcon shows up, and she jumps to the Millennium Falcon, and they escape, but she's still bothered by what she learned about her family name, so that's about it. So anyway, they arrive to Kef Bir, and they're introduced to yet another new character named Jenna, which turns out that she was an ex-stormtrooper. Her and her tribe were ex-stormtroopers that rebelled from the First Order because apparently they had a feeling that they shouldn't go along with, you know, committing genocide on this village. I mean, God forbid, like, they don't have, like, a conscience or a guilt at all for trying to, like, shoot them. No, it's gotta be a feeling because the Force told them not to do it. Just like how the Force told Finn not to, like, do what he did. That's why he found Rey, and that's why he defected, because of the Force. If the Force told Jenna and the other stormtroopers to like go against the First Order, does that make them Force sensitive? Or does the Force allow itself to be heard by others? But that does not make any sense because I don't think that's how the Force works. But I don't know, it's just at this point, anybody that says, I got a feeling or some instinct is telling me about this, they're Force sensitive at this point. So Jenna and Finn, they totally hit it off since they were former stormtroopers who are also children taken away from the First Order, just like Finn. A new potential love interest, maybe? I don't know. She, like, I guess, helps them get to the remains of the Death Star. How they find out exactly where the Wayfinder is, it's just full-on Indiana Jones. Rey has the dagger. She looks at it, examines it. She notices this, like, thing near the hilts, or scabbard, one of the pointy ends. She pulls it, and it's like a little, protractor thingy. I don't know how to describe it. But so she basically, like, just holds up the dagger, and in order to find the exact location of the Wayfinder, the bottom edge of the dagger has to match the top edge of a piece of the Death Star along with the curvy end at the bottom, so it matches the exact shape. Who comes up with this stuff? Like, who thought that? Who's the one that came up with the idea of the design of the dagger and how exactly to pinpoint the location? Like, I'm pretty sure that's something you'd see in Indiana Jones, but at least that makes sense within the context of Indiana Jones. This, not so much, but also, like, Rey instantly knew exactly how to use the dagger. I guess the Force told her to do it. Rey is too goddamn impatient to wait for the waves to, like, calm down, so she, like, goes on the skimmer to go to the Death Star, wreckage. And, of course, Finn has to, like, go off to get Rey, because you know how Finn is when it comes to Rey. So Jenna was gonna help him. You know what? For the remains of the Death Star, which has been around for 30 years, I was expecting more damage considering, you know, it got blown up to smithereens, but whatever. Oh, also, it seems that the Wayfinder is still intact, even though that was in the same Death Star that got blown up, so fine. Rey finds it, which apparently was hidden in Palpatine's throne room. She gets the, you know, the infamous Dark Rey vision with the stupid, with the stupid Swiss Army lightsaber. They get into a brief fight. Dark Rey's like, don't be afraid of who you are, and she's trying to fight against herself because she's trying to fight against her dark side. And eventually, she accidentally loses the Wayfinder. Kylo Ren's there. Got the Wayfinder. Kylo has been, like, pushing Rey to, like, unleash her dark side, so, you know, getting her really angry. So in order to push her even further, he destroys the Wayfinder. She gets pissed, and they start having a duel. Oh yeah, Finn tries to intervene, but Rey force pushes him to get out of the way or to not interfere. It seems like Rey was losing. Like, Kylo Ren was getting the upper hand in this fight. This is like, what, the third, fourth time that they fought, and like Rey was always the one to win. But despite the fact that Kylo Ren was getting the upper hand, Rey wins by a cheap shot by stabbing Kylo in the stomach when he was distracted. How did he get distracted? Well, that's all thanks to Leia, because apparently she was able to sense what was going on. She like goes off to her room, and Maz Kanata, oh my god, I forgot about Maz Kanata. Yeah, she's there. She shows up and says things. She gives Chewie a medal, which I'll get to that later, but she's just also another character that just feels irrelevant. Yeah, Maz Kanata says that Leia was gonna use everything she had to reach out to her son. Why couldn't she have tried to reach out to her son back in The Last Jedi, or back in The Force Awakens, or even like during the 1-year time skip of this movie, because this is a year after The Last Jedi? Why couldn't she try to use the Force to reach out to her son, to Kylo? I don't know, maybe she was too busy. When she's in her room and when she's like lying down, well, I mean, she was going to lie down, she says, Ben. And Kylo Ren senses this when he was getting the upper hand against Rey, because like it looked like that Kylo Ren was going to finally beat Rey in a fight, but he gets distracted by hearing his mother that Rey was able to grab his lightsaber and stab him through the stomach, and then Leia dies. That's how you, that's, okay. Okay. Well, okay, a few things. One, how the hell did Leia die? All she was doing was using the Force to reach out to Ben. Did that cause her to die? 2, that's how you kill her off? Oh, and 3, the moment when Rey stabs Kylo Ren, that was when you see her hand like fall limp on the bed. Did Rey unintentionally kill Leia? Because if that was the case, then that's kind of messed up. And I swear to God, if any of you guys say it's because of natural causes, there's been no hints whatsoever of her being like being sick or being dying or being frail. She seemed perfectly healthy. So like she just suddenly dies because she tried to use the Force? None of this makes any sense. Okay. So Rey sensed that Leia's dead. She cries. She goes over to Kylo Ren and used the same Force healing ability that she did before to him to heal him. And then she tells him that she wanted to hold his hand, Ben's hand. And then she hijacks his TIE fighter, bamps off into Act 2 to like isolate herself, to exile herself, just like what Luke did. I mean, I can see they were trying to give her some sort of like inner conflict and all, but like I never recall Luke like doing the same thing that she did when he found out that Darth Vader was his father. I will admit, with Leia's death, it did give me one of the very few emotional scenes that actually made me feel something in this movie. It was when Chewie, Finn, and Poe return back to the Resistance base. This one woman tells them that Leia is dead. And then you see Chewbacca, poor Chewie, he just cries and mourns over losing Leia, because this is yet another one of his closest friends dead. In fact, if you listen closely to his growls, one of the growls sounds like he's saying no. It does really hit you in the feels. Oh yeah, you even see R2-D2 like in a way mourning the loss of Leia, because like he got all like sad in his own way, in his own droid way. Kylo Ren gets a vision of Han Solo, his father. It's not a Force ghost. Thank God it's not a Force ghost. If it was a Force ghost, I would have been freaking pissed. It was basically just a hallucination created from his memory. They do reenact the lines that he said back in The Force Awakens, which I honestly thought that was like a nice touch. Honestly, the whole scene itself is actually not bad. It's also another good scene in this movie. Like not only like the lines, But like Han like touching his face the same way he did in Force Awakens. Kylo Ren trying to say that he's sorry or that I love you, and then Han says I know, because that's a callback with Leia and Han in the original trilogy. I love you, I know. He's also sad that his mom is dead, that Leia's dead, and that he has no home to return to. But he does get a reassurance from Han Solo that he does have a home, and it was at that moment he takes his Sith lightsaber, throws it out into the ocean, and he is back as Ben Solo. Now, this was a good scene, and Adam Driver, he's a good actor. He does the very best he could with Kylo Ren, and he's a good actor. Kudos to him with the emotional stuff. But this would have been so much better if Kylo Ren was written better, if he was done better in these movies, because Kylo Ren is another character that has potential, just like Finn, but he keeps being undermined because of Rey. It seems like the writers, they don't do a good job of like portraying his struggle between the light and the dark. The potential is there, it's just Kylo Ren could have been so much better. That's just the issue that I had. But you know, but aside from that, I thought the scene with him and Han, that was good. Rey burned down the TIE fighter, so she has no means of getting out of Ahch-To. She goes to throw her lightsaber at the wreckage, but is stopped thanks to Luke Skywalker's Force Ghost, which Force Ghosts can interact with the physical plane of the world, because he was able to grab onto the lightsaber. It's a total like middle finger to Rand Johnson's The Last Jedi, when Luke says that a Jedi's lightsaber should be treated with care. Yeah, that's true. He still did the same thing that he did, but I guess that he realized what he did was wrong, and he tries to reassure Rey to like not give up, to face Palpatine, because it's her destiny as a Jedi, and you know all the usual pep talk stuff. It was also revealed that he and Leia knew that Rey was a Palpatine. Why did they not tell her? I don't know, but I mean, they didn't like discriminate her for being a Palpatine. They accepted her. They knew that there was good in her, that she has a light side to her, so that's why they train her. I know that they were trying to like redeem Luke after what they did to him in The Last Jedi, but I feel like it's a little too late. The Last Jedi is still fresh within people's minds. It's certainly fresh within my mind, and like I still remember that like he wasn't much of a mentor to Rey, and yet she still calls him Master Skywalker. The whole like concept with Force Ghosts of like them only just being there to show up to like help guide other Jedi and help them in any way that they can, that was cool, but they just ruined that concept ever since The Last Jedi, when Yoda showed up and was able to use the Force to summon a lightning strike to burn down a tree, and they're able to interact with the physical world, which I guess in some way they could, because Obi-Wan was sitting on a rock or on a tree or something during was it Empire? No, it was Return of the Jedi. But it's like, I thought it's because like, okay, they could probably interact to a certain extent, not being able to use their Force powers within the physical world. And if they could do that, why couldn't they just recruit a bunch of Force Ghosts to help them fight? Why is it that when Obi-Wan said that he couldn't help Luke fight, I thought it was because because he's just a ghost, he can't do much. But no, he can technically do much because thanks to like this movie and The Last Jedi, Force Ghosts can still use the Force. So why don't they pull like a freaking Aragorn in the Lord of the Rings movies? That's another trilogy I wish I was watching, another good one, Lord of the Rings. Anyway, why couldn't they do what Aragorn did by recruiting a bunch of ghosts to help fight? No, they don't do that. Oh, also it turns out that Luke has Leia's lightsaber that she had back when she was training to be a Jedi. And we do get a flashback of seeing Leia's like last day of training, which I think people are gonna probably call bullshit on this one because Luke got beaten by Leia, but at this point I just stopped caring about what was going on in the movie. According to Luke, Leia got a vision of her son falling into the dark side or something, or like the end of her path as the Jedi would result in the death of her son, or like her son going to the dark side. So to prevent that from happening, she quit being a Jedi and gave her saber to Luke so that, you know, someone else will be able to use it. I thought it was because she preferred, you know, politics, was because she stopped being a Jedi, or stopped her Jedi training. But I guess they had to like establish her being trained by Luke, so hey, that's why she has the capabilities of training Rey. That's why she was able to use the whole "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all" thing with her flying through space. Okay, I guess. We get to see like young Luke and young Leia, at least their faces. And it was clearly obvious that they were using CGI, because for some reason, when they're using CGI for Leia, it's pretty obvious, like, that it's not real. Which, the thing is with CGI, it's like you're supposed to make it seem like it's actually there, but like it's not that much of a good job with the CG. And I know that they were limited with like deleted scenes and voice reels from Carrie Fisher, because unfortunately she passed away, God rest her soul. Because they're limited, I guess because they're limited with what they've got. Okay, that's fine, but like they could have done a better job with the CG, because you can clearly tell how weird it looks, or how different and odd it is with whenever we get scenes of Leia. By the way, Rey gets motivated again thanks to Luke. She doesn't really know how to get to Exegol, but that's fine because Kylo Ren's TIE fighter just so happened to have the first wayfinder. I guess he didn't keep it safe at his home. I guess he like kept it in his ship, which is, I guess, that's a good coincidence. A lot of coincidences that that lowers the stakes, that like erases any stakes whatsoever. There's no stakes in this movie aside from Leia dying. That's about it. There's another death, but I'll get to that later. It's just so yeah, she's got the map to get to Exegol, but she doesn't have a ship. But that's fine, because hey, here's another member berry for you. Luke, Force Ghost Luke, uses the Force to lift up his X-Wing! His freaking X-Wing that was underwater, and it was still fully functional and capable of getting her to Exegol, even though there should be some more damage, because I don't know exactly how many years it's been since Luke first arrived in freaking Octu. So how long was he been there? It's probably been many years, so there should have been more damage with the the X-Wing. But no, it's fine. It's fine. Besides, Rey probably would have fixed it up anyway, even though she doesn't have like a lot of materials to help fix up the X-Wing. But hey, that's fine, because hey, it's another ship that she can take from the original trilogy characters for her to use, because why not? And also, hey, call back to Empire Strikes Back when he struggled to lift his X-Wing from the swamp in Dagobah. I guess he has no problem with doing that now. Now he's a Force Ghost. Woo. Oh my god, my throat is killing me. So anyway, she flies to Exegol, giving the Resistance a path to get there. And, you know, since Leia is dead, Finn and Poe are now generals and in charge of the Resistance. So their plan is to, like, go to the fleet, destroy an antenna that controls the fleet. Which, oh yeah, another thing. Yeah, those fleet of Star Destroyers, they got Death Star tech. They got Death Star cannons that they could use to blow up the planet. One of the planet was Kijiji. No, sorry, Kimiji? What was the planet again? Kijimi. Kijimi, that's what it was. Kijimi. The planet that Zori Bliss and Babu Freak are from. No, those two are fine, because eventually they show up in the fight. Because, hey, they escaped! How'd they escape? They luckily, they just so happened to like escape from the planet right before that planet got blown up. So hey, it's all good. Whoopee. Lando and Chewie are gonna take the Millennium Falcon to gather some backup. Is the spectacle of seeing the Resistance fighting the Final Order, it was cool. It was cool to look at. But then there are also some scenes that are ridiculous, like the the space horses riding on the Star Destroyer, which is still dumb. They justified it because they didn't want to bring any tech vehicles that will be disabled by the Final Order. So they think horses would be a better idea. But the scene is still dumb. Oh yeah, and also get to see the Sith troopers. There's nothing much unique about them aside from them being red. That's it. Oh yeah, Pride is also in charge of the Final Order fleet. But to be fair, Pride at least was an improvement compared to Hux, so yeah, it's a bit of a step up. So first things first, the Final Order versus the Resistance. Okay, so the Resistance seems to be gaining like the upper hand by disabling one of the antenna things that controls the Star Destroyers with Death Star tech. Why Death Star tech? Even though the Death Star hasn't been made, we're still getting Death Star tech anyway. We're still getting some version of the Death Star, but that's besides the point. But they're losing. It seems like all hope is lost. They tried to destroy the antenna thing, I remembered, at the ground, but it turns out they relocated it into one of the ships. So they go to one of the ships to like disable it, which it seemed to have worked at first, but not really. So people were losing. Oh, also Finn wants to sacrifice himself again for like what, the third time to like destroy the antenna. But Jana goes with them because hey, they're new best buds or new potential love interests or some shit. But like, I think there was a bit of a moment between him and Rose, but not really, because Rose like she doesn't want to leave him, but no, they gotta go. So yeah. But anyway, I said before, Poe was losing hope because a lot of their allies are dying. But then you hear Lando going on your left, and okay, well not really, but he might as well have just said that because this is literally the portal scene from Avengers Endgame. But anyway, he shows up with some backup within a couple of hours. Yet why didn't any of this backup ever show up in The Last Jedi when Leia made the call? But hey, it's fine, whatever. They show up with some backup. Oh, the tables have turned. They're getting the upper hand on this. Yay! Meanwhile, with Rey, she finds Palpatine and she ends up in a coliseum with thousands of Sith followers, which we still have no freaking clue how he gathered so many allies with nobody knowing. And it's like, it's like it's like freaking like a, I don't know, I was expecting like a gladiator fight going on, but no, there's like some sort of like ceremony going on, and it turns out that Palpatine wanted her not to kill her, but for her to kill him. Okay, so even though he told Kylo Ren to find Rey and kill her, that wasn't really his plan. No, his plan was basically to get her to the Coliseum in Exegol, have her strike him down so that his essence, as well as the essence of all the Sith, goes into her, so she becomes the new Sith Empress. Okay, if that was his plan in the first place, why did he tell Kylo Ren to find her to kill her? That doesn't make any sense. Like, okay, you should have just told her, you should have just told him to like, oh, find the girl and have her come to me so that she can become so she can take my place and to rule over the Sith, so that she becomes the Sith Empress. But no, instead he tells Kylo Ren to find her to kill her so that they can end the Jedi Order. What? Like, okay, I guess Palpatine lost a couple brain cells after being, you know, dead. Not really, but coming back, but whatever. Kylo Ren shows up. How the hell did he get there? He got another TIE fighter. How'd he get the TIE fighter when he was stranded on the ruins of the Death Star? I don't freaking know. He's just there. Oh yeah, and the Knights of Ren are there too. And despite them being like there's Ren soldiers, Kylo Ren soldiers, but I guess since they pledged their allegiance to Palpatine, and not to Kylo Ren anymore, who's now Ben, because just because. So yeah, they're totally against their old leader now. And even though they have no idea why he was there, they proceed to beat him up despite him being able to use the Force, but he doesn't have a lightsaber, so he's pretty much screwed. They don't kill him right away. Probably should have done that. No, instead they kind of like wait for a moment, and then there's like a bit of moment between Rey and Kylo. Sorry, Rey and Ben. He's Ben now. Rey and Ben, because of their Force link thing. And so she like was about to like strike her grandfather with her lightsaber. Looks like she was gonna do it. But then, like, when she raised her hand behind her back, it's gone. Ben, I've been calling him Kylo Ren for so long, I have to, like, call him Ben now. Yeah, Ben's got the lightsaber. I don't know if it's, probably Leia's lightsaber. I hope it is. And then he proceeds to kick the Knights of Ren's asses. Just like that. Like, even though they were his close followers, even though he could have like tried to convince them to join him. No, you don't get any of that. In fact, they don't even speak throughout the entire movie. Like, that's just it. Like, what was their deal? Like, what was so special about them? Nothing. There's like nothing special about them. Like, they're probably Force sensitive and they got weapons, but they didn't like kill off Ben right away. No. They lose. They all die. Woo. So, anyway, Palpatine now knows that she's gonna betray him. She attacks the Red Guards. I remember those Red Guards. I don't know what they're exactly called. Ben shows up to help Rey fight against Palpatine. So you think you're gonna get a team up with these two? No, not really, because Palpatine, he's gonna attack them, but instead, he accidentally, like, does something. He accidentally sucks the life force, and he's like, the dyad. Like, what? Like, he didn't even know what he was doing. It's just he took his hands out, and all of a sudden, oh shit, I just sucked out some sort of life force, which they called the dyad. So apparently, this is something that hasn't happened for generations, a mind link between two Jedi, and that's what the dyad is, the whole mind link thing. Because Palpatine accidentally sucked the life force. He accidentally sucked the life force even though he had no idea he could do that, but that's totally fine because that leads to his advantage by sucking up the dyad's life energy to restore his body to back what it was. He's back to normal, so I guess there really was no need for Rey to kill him, for her to get his essence and the essence of the Sith, because hey, you know what? I'm back. I'm fully powerful, and I guess I don't need you guys anymore, so I'm gonna kill you now. What the fuck is going on? There's just too many coincidences in this goddamn movie. I can't even with this. So I guess absorbing their life essences doesn't really completely kill Rey and Ben. It just weakens them. And Ben looked like he was gonna get up and try to fight, but like freaking Palpatine just, you know, used the Force to like grab him and push him off a cliff. He just basically just yeeted him out of the freaking place. Just yeet. And guess what? He doesn't die from that. Eventually he climbs out, okay, kinda, sorta, but he survives that. I can't even with this movie. I can't even with this. This is ridiculous. This Sith Emperor has returned to his full form. He helps his allies by using his lightning, which is so strong now, it hits all of the Resistance ships, disabling them. His lightning is literally an EMP of those ships. Why didn't he just blow them up? I don't know. He could have just blown them up with his lightning. If Rey could blow up a transport vessel with her own lightning, so good of Palpatine, but no, he just disables them, and it says, oh no, all hope is lost, and that's when we get to the Jedi voices. And honestly, this was a cool scene, I will admit. But this totally reminds me of not only just Avatar: The Last Airbender, Legend of Korra, this just reminds me of like other shonen anime that done this whole thing where the voices motivate the main character to get up, they clash, and the main character gets the last blow to defeat the enemy. That's kind of like the same thing in a way. Now, I did recognize most of the voices. I recognized Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen one. I recognized Qui-Gon Jinn, so they got Liam Neeson back. That was cool. Mace Windu, that was neat. And Yoda. But then there were these other voices that I did not recognize. So I looked it up, and it turns out that these characters were from Star Wars Rebels and Star Wars Clone Wars. And I gotta be honest with you guys, I have not seen those shows. So you can understand why I was so confused with these different voices. But when I did look up who they were, I only recognized two of them. One of them was Ahsoka Tano, who is a quite popular character within the Star Wars fan base. But then again, this also confirms that she's dead, so that's a bummer. But I have heard about Ahsoka, and I did recognize her look. So when I found out what line she said during the voice sequence, I was like, oh, okay, so that's Ahsoka. Another character was it Kanan Jarrus? He was from Star Wars Rebels. I did recognize him as the blind Jedi, but then there were these three female characters. I did not recognize them. Ayla Sakura, Luminara Unduli, and Adi Galia. I did not recognize any of them, so when I looked up what they looked like, they were some of the Jedi that usually appeared in the prequels. Honestly, the only character that I recognized the most was Ayla, because she was that blue Twilight girl that got shot in the back during the Order 66 scene in Revenge of the Sith. The others, I did not recognize any of them. And you know what, despite it being a cool scene and all, with the voices telling Rey to like find the light, you must rise, the Force will be with you always, you know, that stuff. Oh, and you have Anakin also saying, bring back balance to the Force as I did. So they do acknowledge that Anakin was the chosen one, but that still doesn't mean that they disrespected his legacy and his sacrifice and his redemption. It would have been so much cooler though that we've actually seen their Force ghosts. Like if you couldn't like get the actual actors to reprise their roles physically as their characters, you could have done like the same thing you did with Leia and young Luke. You could have just like used some like CG and body doubles or some shit like that. Rey gets the strength to rise up, I guess. Wait, is that why it's called the Rise of Skywalker? Anyway, she gets the strength to stand up, grabs her lightsaber. Palpatine uses Force Lightning for the third time, which you think that Force Lightning on a Jedi would lead to his downfall, but no. He uses it again for the third time, but it's blocked by Rey. Palpatine is like, I am inevitable. I mean, I am all the Sith. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It is totally like the Thanos and Tony Stark, I am inevitable, I am Iron Man, but no, in reality, Palpatine is like, I am all the Sith, and Rey is like, and I am all the Jedi. Double blades, blocking the lightning, she pushes back, forces the lightning to hit his face multiple times, blows up because of his own goddamn lightning, which, you know, you think after like 2 times where he gets hit by his own lightning, first time with Mace Windu, second time with when he gets lifted up by Darth Vader, you'd think he would like, I should probably stop using my lightning. In fact, like, if anything, he should probably use that like dyad force sucking ability that he had before to suck up even more of her life energy, because clearly she's not dead. So, you know, keep sucking out more of her life. But no, just let's stick with the Force lightning. Instead of aiming the lightning to this lightsaber, why not, hey, aim the lightning at her legs, because they're not protected by the lightning. It's not protecting her legs, so maybe just aim down low, and that's when you can get her. Or no, but no, he's still blasting, and that leads to his downfall again. But he dies for real this time. No coming back from that. And the explosion causes a shockwave to destroy not only the Colosseum, but to kill all the Sith followers. So woo! Oh, also Finn and Jenna were able to destroy the antenna thingy that blows up the Star Destroyer that Pride was in, and all the Star Destroyers can't attack them anymore because they're disabled or some shit like that. Lando flying in with the Millennium Falcon was able to save Jenna and Finn from dying, so it's all good. Meanwhile, back with Rey, she died. I'm sorry. She just takes in what just happened and she just falls on the ground dead because I guess all the strength that she had left to stand up and to like block the lightning had weakened her to the point where she dies, I think. I don't know exactly how she died. Maybe because she used the Force to push back the lightning, and because of using the Force so many times, that's when she dies for good. As I said before, Ben actually like climbs out of the cliff because that didn't kill him. He sees Rey dead. He gets all sad, holds her body. It's supposed to be an emotional scene, but I just didn't care that Rey died. So Ben decides to do the same thing that Rey did to him by using the Force healing ability to bring her back alive. Again, Anakin Skywalker rolling in his grave because he was able to revive her from the dead. He was able to resurrect her from the dead. She was dead for like what, a couple seconds, a couple minutes, but he was able to revive her. But it only costed his life energy, so he dies. But wait, before that happens, they have like a moment, like, where she goes, Ben? And they smile, and then they kiss because freaking Reylo. Okay, I gotta tell you something. When that happens, I turned to my friend who was sitting next to me. He was laughing and just face palming over seeing that scene. And then I turned to my other friend who was sitting next to him, and we were looking at each other. He was like, what the fuck? And I was like, I know. And we were just laughing over how ridiculous it was. Because did they even have like any, I mean, I know that there was some sort of tension going on, but like, I didn't know if it was like romantic or sexual. I mean, it's like, why him? Like, despite him joining back into the light, Ben did some terrible things as Kylo Ren, torturing Rey, torturing her friends, killing a lot of people, including killing his father. So it's like, really? But no, we gotta cater to the Reylo shippers, because for some reason, ever since The Force Awakens, shipping has gone to a whole new level, and people are obsessed with Reylo. I got nothing against Reylo shippers. Like, if you want to ship them, go ahead. I got my fair share of ships. Like, I'm not gonna judge you for it, but it's like, there are people out there that obsess with these ships, and to the point where it's so goddamn ridiculous. Like, I never recalled the shipping going this far, during when we had the prequels and when we had the original trilogy. But hey, there's your Reylo, but it's not gonna be there for long because, as I said before, Ben dies after they kiss. His body fades away because now he's a Force ghost. He's one with the Force. Same thing with Leia, because the moment he became a Force ghost, so did Leia, because they're that connected, I guess. And as I said before, he exchanged his life force to save Rey. So that's why he died, because giving up his life force to Rey, because the whole dyad relationship thing. But in a way, it's kind of a bummer because I feel like Ben should have lived. Like, he should have lived and tried to redeem himself and redeem the Skywalker name. You know? I mean, it's gonna take a lot of trial and error, and obviously they're not gonna welcome back in open arms, but at least he could have at least tried to, like, redeem himself in that way. But I guess, no, this is his only way of redemption, sacrificing himself for Rey. So anyway, they get back to the resistance base. Everybody is happy. They won. They're celebrating. People are hugging and kissing. We get a lesbian kiss. So there's your LGBTQ plus representation, but I know people are going to be mad over it because apparently the media and Disney were hyped up to be, oh, we're going to get our LGBTQ representation because we're going to have a kiss. But it's just a kiss between two extras. Actually, one of them happened to be the girl that told them that Leia was dead. And it's just for like a few seconds. Me, I didn't care. I didn't mind it. But knowing the fan base and knowing like how people are, they're gonna be pissed over it. There's this moment where it looked like that Poe was trying to get Zori Bliss to, like, I don't know, like go somewhere private to celebrate personally, but she just like no, and he just drops it. So like, I guess they didn't like get back together or some shit. I don't know. She was a pointless character. With Jenna, he asks Lando where he's from. He asks her the same thing, and she says that she has no idea. She doesn't know where her family is, and he says, well, let's find out. A lot of people find this scene kind of weird because of how he was talking the way he was. It sounded like he was trying to flirt or get with Jenna. Which, to be fair, yeah, that's kind of weird. But I don't think that's what it was supposed to imply. It was supposed to imply that he wants to help her find her family, maybe help her team find their families too. I guess it's because of the way it's said that people kind of like misinterpret that. Oh, Chewie gets a medal! And it's not just any medal, it's the same medal that Han Solo got in A New Hope, because Chewie needed to get a medal. Cool, I guess, but it just felt like it was a participation award, because it's like, what has he exactly done to deserve a medal? But he got a medal. I don't know if it's like a completely new medal, but considering it looks like Han Solo's medal, I thought it was because it's actually Han Solo's medal, and Maz Kanata gave it to him because, you know, just something to keep that belonged to Han, his closest friend. I don't know why Maz Kanata even has a medal, or that medal, or even, hell, we don't even know if this is actually Han Solo's medal, but she has it and gives it to Chewie because, hey, Chewie needs a medal, but okay, whatever. Oh, Rey shows up, and the whole group reunites, and they get into a group hug, which you'd think that I would get emotional over it, but I was at the point where I just didn't care. I didn't care about Palpatine's death. I didn't care about Ben dying or Rey dying. I didn't care about, like, oh, Leia's lightsaber. I didn't even care about the medal that Chewie got. I didn't care about the reunion. I was, so much stuff has happened probably ever since the heart-to-heart between Han Solo and Kylo is like when I checked out. It's like, yeah, I just stopped caring. Yeah, it's supposed to be emotional to them because even though they technically did defeat the Final Order, but the First Order probably still out there somewhere, so they still gotta deal with them, but okay. Rey comes to Tatooine, Luke's old moisture farm home back in Tatooine. The reason why she's there is because she buries Luke and Leia's lightsabers, even though Leia doesn't really have any affiliation with Tatooine whatsoever. She buries them as a way to pay her respects to Luke and Leia. She has her own lightsaber, which from what I can see from her hilt looks like parts of her staff. So she was able to make her lightsaber from parts of her staff. And instead of like a button to press, you have like a knob that you turn on the lightsaber, which is a yellow lightsaber. Now I had to look it up if there's any significance with the yellow lightsabers. It turns out that lightsabers used to be used by the Jedi Sentinels, which are basically a balance of the diplomatic side of the Jedi and the fighting side of the Jedi. And they don't rely on the Force to solve all their problems. I think Ahsoka used a yellow lightsaber, I could be wrong. But they also mentioned a character named Asajj Ventress who used a yellow lightsaber, but she got it from the black market. It was like a basic standard yellow lightsaber. And it turns out that yellow lightsabers aren't really common. In fact, they're kind of rare. So how was Rey able to build her own lightsaber if yellow lightsabers were not common? They were kind of rare. And then this random woman with the space camel shows up and she tells Rey, "Who are you?" And Rey's like, "I'm Rey." And this is gonna be tying back to the whole, I don't have a family name. And then old lady's like, "Rey who?" She looks off into the distance and she sees Luke and Leia's Force ghosts, which is nice. In fact, Leia looked like she's wearing the same outfit that she used to wear in A New Hope. Would have been so much better if we got to see Ben's Force ghost. I'm just saying, because like, what was the point of seeing his body disappear right after he died? Like, you could have like shown Ben's Force ghost, but no, it's just Luke and Leia's, which, okay, whatever. Anyway, she turns back to the lady and she says, "Rey Skywalker." Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, she practically took everything from the Skywalkers. Everything from them. The droids, the ships, lightsabers, their legacies, their victories, their redemptions, everything that they worked hard on. Took everything. Might as well have taken their name. Even though she's a Palpatine and the Skywalkers are all extinct. There's no more Skywalkers anymore. But no. She gets to take the Skywalker name. Because she totally freaking deserves it, like she deserves everything else. I'm sorry, this was the part that really pissed me off. Like, I heard that she goes by Skywalker, but I thought it was gonna be, like, better. But no. She just takes the name. Even though she's a Palpatine. In fact, Palpatine bloodline is going strong. Skywalkers are no more. So, in a way, Palpatine kind of wins in that way. But whatever. Anyway, after she says her full name, Rey Skywalker, she and BB-8 look out into the twin suns. You get the cool music, which that's another good thing about the movie. John Williams' score. He does some amazing songs. Anyway, the twin suns, you get to see the sunset, and then that's where it ends. What the fuck was this movie? Oh my god. Okay. There's so much wrong with this movie. Like, there are so many plot holes in this movie, so many contrived coincidences that happen in this movie that don't make a lot of sense, that takes me out of the movie, that I can't fully immerse myself into watching this. I've seen my friends on Facebook saying, "Oh, this movie's actually not bad, it's actually a good movie." It's not a good movie. It has good moments, but it's a bad Star Wars movie. There are so many unnecessary characters that they introduce that there's no purpose for them whatsoever, aside from, oh, we need new female characters and we need some characters for merch, to buy the merch. The Force, with their abilities and how they keep messing with the lore of the Jedi and the Star Wars and the Force, it's getting ridiculous. They keep coming up with Force abilities that they never like foreshadow or hint at. I know they did the whole healing with Baby Yoda, but it's like, it just feels like that they're pulling it out of their asses. Like they can all of a sudden do that. And also, like, practically anybody can be Force sensitive as long as they get some sort of instinct. Every time they get like an instinct or like a feeling, that's the Force. So if anybody gets that, does that mean that they're Force sensitive? Jenna, is she Force sensitive? Like, did Poe also get a feeling? I could have sworn that Poe also said he had an instinct or a feeling. I don't know if that was like an actual feeling or a force. I don't know. Another problem I have with this movie is that it's clearly obvious that J.J. Abrams was trying to like retcon everything that happened in The Last Jedi, but it still comes off as a complete and total mess. Okay? The thing is with the original trilogy and the prequels, they're able to tell a story from point A, point B, and point C. And they're able to flow and intermingle. Okay? Say what you will about the prequels, but at least you can tell that it was coming full circle in some way. That George Lucas was clearly trying to tell a story that flowed. This trilogy, it's just, there's like no flow whatsoever. It's just a mess. It's a jumbled mess. You had two different directors telling two different stories, and J.J. Abrams, what he could have done was taken the ideas of The Last Jedi and made it his own, like improved on them, expanded on them, make them better, but instead he just gets rid of them. He just gets rid of them and retcons them. And by doing that, you still make the story not make much sense whatsoever. Another problem that I had with this movie is that not only they introduce like new characters that feel like that they're completely unnecessary, they do a lot of the old characters dirty. Lando, like what was the point of him? I mean, I like Lando, but he didn't really get to like do anything significant compared to what he did in the original trilogy. Finn was like one of the characters that I liked, and they done him dirty for so long, and it just sucks because I love John Boyega. He seems like a cool dude and a good actor. Kylo Ren, I already expressed my disappointment with his character, but it's only because of like what the writers have done to him. Leia. Like, what have they done to Leia? Like, I know that they're limited with what they've got, but like they could have done something better. They could have at least made her death made more sense. But no. Like, who is to blame for what Disney did? I mean, yeah, it's Disney's fault, clearly, but what about the people in charge? Who do I blame for this? Do I blame Kathleen Kennedy? Do I blame Bob Iger? Do I blame J.J. Abrams? Do I blame Rian Johnson? I'm not gonna blame the actors because they did the best that they could with their acting. Although, to be fair, I'm like kind of meh with Daisy Ridley's acting, but everyone else was alright. You know what the sad thing is? The Mandalorian, a show on Disney Plus, is way better. The directors and writers of The Mandalorian, they should have been the one to direct and make the Disney trilogy, because they knew what Star Wars was. They knew what it was, who these characters are, the lore. They would respect the lore and the story and the characters. They sure as hell would have done a way better job than freaking J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson. Well, here's another thing that I recently found out that really annoyed the hell out of me. So on the same day that The Rise of Skywalker came out, they released a visual dictionary of The Rise of Skywalker that basically tells you all the details you need to know about certain things that they never explain in the movie. So, if you're confused about like what that planet was, who these people are, why is Lando in the desert planet, which I forgot its freaking name. Oh my god, its name escaped me. Well, I mean, you're gonna have to buy this visual dictionary that came out on the same day as the movie came out. Otherwise, you're just gonna like have a bunch of questions that are not gonna be answered. And I bet you that despite this visual dictionary, I still have questions that haven't been answered. Will they be able to answer them? Probably in a novel or in a comic book. Because God forbid they couldn't like give you anything in these movies. No, you just have to read extra material to understand what is going on. I wouldn't waste my money to go to the theater to watch it. Just wait till it comes out on Disney Plus, or wait for the DVD or whatever, or maybe bootleg it. Now that I think about it, I probably should have watched Rebels and the Clone Wars. I probably would have gotten a lot more enjoyment out of those shows. They have to be at least better than this movie or this trilogy. These movies exist, but that doesn't mean that it shouldn't take away our enjoyment from the previous movies. I'm still gonna watch the prequels. I'm still gonna watch the original trilogy when I get the chance. And you know what? I'm still gonna enjoy them. Well, I don't know about Attack of the Clones or even Phantom Menace, but hey, I mean, I would probably get more enjoyment out of those movies than I did with the Disney trilogy. So with that being said, I'm Learner's Power 27, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.